Hello and welcome to the podcast Love Yourself and Live Your Life, your podcast for personal development, a positive mindset and more consciousness in your life. My name is Jolanthe. I am a mother, a life coach, and I am so happy you're here today. It's wonderful you're joining me on the journey to a more happy and peaceful life, to more love and self-acceptance, and to more love for your family and others. I'm so excited to share my first podcast with you today. In this podcast, I will be speaking how to deal with negative emotions. I truly believe everyone experiences loads of feelings. Feelings such as fear, anger, sadness, grief, rejection, insecurity or embarrassment. Everyone experiences all of this emotion, but no one really wants to, and we always try pushing them away. Today I want to show you a healthy and natural way how to deal with these emotions. Everyone has got a different way how to deal with emotions. In our early childhood, we have learned from our parents how to deal with emotions. We have observed them, how they dealt with their emotions, so therefore we learned from them. And also we have been told by our parents how we should behave to each emotion and how we should not. I'll give you an example. Men usually have been told not to cry. So if men experience any sadness, they were told you have to be strong. You cannot show as any weakness, and therefore don't cry. Don't show any tears. And with women, it was the emotion of anger. We were taught not to show any anger. Every time an anger came up, we were told, calm down, don't be angry. This is not a nice emotion. And therefore we started learning that we need to control these emotions. We need to get rid of them. We need to stop them. So we started fighting against them. And probably you know yourself as well. Maybe it happens to you as well. You may experience anger, but then you pretend that it doesn't bother you. You put like a mask over your face and you just think, okay, it doesn't bother me. It's all fine, not a problem at all. Or the same with fear. We may experience fear in our jobs, or we may experience fear speaking in front of people in a meeting, and therefore we try to stay in control. We try to stop that fear and just be in control. What is interesting that this emotion, even though we try to stop it, we just try to ignore it, we try to pretend it's not there, it doesn't exist, we are feeling it anyway. The only natural, helpful way to deal with these emotions is mindfully accepting of what is. So what does it mean? Mindfully accepting of what is. It means accepting the emotion that arises. So we experience in daily routines that emotions arise, emotions such as sadness or fear or anger. And we should take a moment time for accepting it, allowing ourselves to experience this emotion. Saying, okay, I allow myself to feel this anger right now. And I allow myself to feel the fear right now. Or I allow myself to feel the sadness right now. And if you do it now. When this emotion arises, just stay with it for a moment. It will only last up to 3 minutes for this emotion to come and to pass by again. And just experience, how does it feel? Where in my body do I locate this? Is it in my throat? Is it in my chest? It might be in my shoulders or in my neck. Might be on my chest or in my belly. Locate it. Where do you feel this emotion? How does it feel? And what does it do with you? And as I said earlier, the interesting part is really these emotions, they are there anyway. even if we are pushing this emotion away or fighting it, trying to stop it, by allowing it to be there, it will go much quicker. So if you allow yourself that the feeling can be there, what happens? This emotion arises. It arises up to the top and then it slowly fades away. And that process lasts up to 3 minutes. It is like a curve. It rises up and then fades away. And if you observe children very often, they just cry, there is a big drama, they cry, and shortly after, you see them smile again, you see them laugh again, you see them play again. That's because children, they can still naturally deal with their own emotions. And when we are suppressing, that means consciously trying to avoid this emotion, during that process of the rising of the emotion, we go in between, and that means that we don't allow the brain to process this emotion. And therefore, next time the emotion will return much stronger, much more intense. And the more we suppress it, the more often it will return. Because emotions means energy in motion. They want to be felt, they want to be experienced, they need to be processed. You can even imagine it as a balloon that you try to keep underwater. So you have got this one balloon that is your emotion and you're just pushing it down to under the surface of the water, and it keeps coming up, and then the next emotion comes up as the next balloon and you try pushing it away, and suddenly you have all these balloons that they are all trying to pop out. So if you allow yourself and if you allow this balloon to come up and you just get the air out of the balloon, it will simply vanish and you don't have to fight against all the balloons, all these emotions. So allow yourself to observe what exactly happens to your body. Perceive the curve consciously, how the emotion comes and how it very naturally fades away. I'd like to share with you my experience, how it was with me. For many, many years, like all of us, I experienced anxiety and fear without realizing. And I always tried stopping it. I always tried distracting myself, getting rid of this, fighting against this fear, this anxiety. And what has happened over the time, I developed panic attacks. And these panic attacks were a result of the suppressed emotion of anxiety, because I didn't allow it to feel it. I didn't allow it to process this emotion. This panic attacks came much stronger, much harder, much more regular as well. And I don't know if you have experienced any panic attacks in the past. You feel like dying, you lose control of your body, you lose control of your mind, you don't know what is going on. You start feeling dizzy, you cannot breathe properly, your heart starts beating really fast. It's just such a scary emotion. You have no idea what is going on. And I know that my body has been showing me for all these years, but as I ignored the signs of the fear, and as I ignored this emotion, it then came back so much stronger, so much more often. And since I am allowing that emotions to arise, and since I am allowing myself to experience this emotion, the panic attacks have almost completely vanished. You could really say I am basically healed of panic attacks now. And that was such a simple tool, by accepting it and allowing it to be there. So what is very important in that process is mindfulness. Mindfully perceive what is going on. It's the key factor to realize what is happening. Because if we accept and we don't hold on an emotion, it will vanish naturally. And there is one tool that is so simple, and we always have it with us wherever we are, wherever we go, and that's our breath. Our breath is the most helpful and useful tool that will help you straight away to bring yourself back to that moment. It will give you just a second or a couple of seconds to reflect and realize what is going on right now. What is inside me? What's going on? What is that emotion? What is that thought? It will give you some time to decide and then how to react. Because this few moments, while you're taking a deep breath in and you focus on your breath, it brings you back to this moment. And it also instantly, it's a relaxation tool for your body and for your mind. So when you take a deep breath, and you can do it right now, it only takes a moment to take a breath in and out and instantly feeling much better. But we don't use this tool, even though we have it with us, and it is just so simple. Another very, very powerful tool that I use on a regular basis when I experience any negative emotions, I simply go outside and move and exercise. So movement and exercise, they are so powerful because in our body, this emotion, what we normally do is when we don't feel good, when we feel sad, when we feel angry, when we are embarrassed or whatever emotion, we sit down on the sofa and this emotion just stays in there. And we keep holding on to that emotion. But if we make the decision and we go outside and we move the body, it can be by just simply walking, it can be running or cycling, you can do yoga, you can play tennis, trampoline, whatever really feels good to you. But go and move your body, and ideally is to go in the nature. And I observed, for me, it works like kind of within few moments. As soon as I start moving and I go outside, I connect with the nature, I feel so much better. I feel so much more relaxed. It's like as if the thought and that emotion just vanishes. Something that I do very often as well is smiling. Even though I don't feel like smiling, but smiling gives a message to the brain that you feel good. So the brain thinks, oh, that person feels good, and it gives you even more of that positive emotion and gives you even more reasons to smile. And you probably know the saying, fake it until you make it. And that's so true. That is absolutely true. How often I just start moving, I start dancing, I start smiling or laughing, and I get surrounded of that positive energy, of that happiness, and all the negativity, negative thoughts, negative emotions, they all disappear. Very often what happens that we simply hold on to an emotion. Naturally, an emotion only lasts for about 3 minutes and then naturally it vanishes. But if we hold on to that emotion, it can last for hours or for days or even weeks. It's in our power and it's our responsibility to get out of that situation. And it is important to accept it, to experience it, to allow yourself to feel this emotion for a moment, for like a minute or 2 or 3, until it vanishes again. But then letting it go. And very good tool for that is just to go outside, go into the nature, do some exercise, move your body. I'd like to give you a little background about how emotions are being created. And that always happens, it always begins with the thought. Let's say, for example, there is a situation, a trigger that comes up, and we usually react instantly. We simply react. Something happens to us and we react because of that emotion. It's like an instant reaction, an autopilot reaction. But in fact, what is happening there, situation comes up, the trigger, someone may say something to us, and in our mind, and it happens really, you can even say it like instantly, we create a thought. But our thought is being created depend on the rating. And our rating depends on our story, depends on our past, on our experiences, and on our beliefs. Based on that rating, we create that thought. And when we created that thought, this is the emotion that we experience in our body, the sensation in our body. And if it does not feel right, we react to someone with saying whatever we think in that moment, whatever we experience in this moment. And very often we may not react in the most appropriate way because we simply react on autopilot. Therefore, it is so important as well to watch the thoughts, what is going on right now and why has that emotion been created. Because it has got to do with us as well. What does it have to do with us if we react? It has everything to do with us. Because if we would not react, it wouldn't have anything to do with us. And I give you an example for that. Someone may tell me, you are ugly. And in that moment, based on my rating and based on my experience and based on my belief, I either believe what that person says, and because I believe it myself already, and that will create the thought, okay, this person says the truth, and I'll react in anger, in frustration, in sadness. Or if I don't believe in this, it wouldn't bother me and I will not react. So very often the situations give us an insight of what is going on inside ourselves, what our belief system is. And that's very important, and that's even very good to experience these things because they teach us a lot, and we can from there work on our belief system, work and realize what is going on, where can I heal, what is it exactly that is triggering my reaction like that. It is not the person that is harming us by saying something, it is our thoughts that harm us. Okay, so a short summary to all that has been said earlier about how to deal with negative emotions is, first of all, mindfully observe your body and observe your emotions. What is going on right now there? Just observe, accept, and let go of it. Don't fight against it. Don't do anything. Allow this emotion to be there. Use your breath as a tool. Use your breath to relax. Use your breath to gain a moment to reflect what is going on right now as well. By allowing yourself to feel this emotion, the emotion will much sooner vanish naturally. And without holding on to it, letting it come and letting it go. Don't try holding on to that emotion. The best tool for that is to go outside, to move your body, to exercise and connect with the nature. And smile. If you can smile, laugh, whatever to makes you feel better, because that emotion will only last for a maximum of 3 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I really hope there was something that you have learned from and something that inspired you. If you would like to connect with me, you'll find me on Facebook and on Instagram, Jolanthe Kolleg. Additionally, I have also created a Facebook group which is called Live the Life You Love. It's a private group, and in this group we share inspiring stuff. We have been running for the last 2 months. Every morning, a live morning routine session where we meditated together, where I shared some coaching input. And for the last 2 weeks, I was running a self-love challenge to support, to create more self-love. And so many more things to come in the future. So if you want to join us, it's completely free. Just ask to join this group. If you enjoyed this podcast, I would be so grateful if you could leave me a 5-star rating. If you want to subscribe to my podcast and if you want to share my podcast to anyone you know, that will make me absolutely happy. I would like to grow this podcast. Thank you very much. Take care. Loads of love. Your Jolanthe.